Hey everybody, this is Joe Joseph, and this is the DailySheeple.com's News Shot. So I want to go to USA Today, who published a couple days ago this a piece on CRISPR gene editing. I've been talking about the CRISPR-Cas9 technology now for quite some time, simply because of what power it gives humanity over, basically gives them the power of God for less, I can't come up with any other term to really describe it. And I wanted to get a little bit into it today, take a few minutes to go over why I think it's wrong that we do this, even though there are powerful ways that we can engineer out disease and things like that. I'll get into that in a minute. The article says humans had better be ready to play God because we've now got the tools to do just that. Credit the recent discovery of CRISPR-Cas9, a powerful gene editing tool that gives scientists the ability to make precise edits of single strands of DNA. Other so-called molecular scissors have already been developed, but they were very costly and time-consuming to implement. The emergence of CRISPR has put genomics and its exploration into overdrive with quick, precise, and cheap tools, sending science on a fast track to new discoveries. Now, CRISPR could be used to erase and replace mutations that make some susceptible to a wide range of conditions from AIDS to Zika, healthier, more resilient farm animals, pets, fruits, vegetables. They're all in the hopper. Genetically modified everything. CRISPR could be, billions of dollars are being poured into CRISPR research precisely because of the possibilities, and they're seemingly endless. I'll just say this. There's nothing that they can't do with this. You've got startups that are now popping up everywhere. You got CRISPR pioneers like CRISPR Therapeutics. You got Editas Medicine. You got eGenesis, Synthetico. I mean, all of this. And they're all their valuations are in excess of $500 million, which means that, for a startup, that's not that bad. Now, they've actually done the work and started using this to genetically modify human embryos now in the United States. This is extremely troubling. Now, my rub on this, to me personally, it's a violation of the right of the individual. We're not taking into account the free will of the individual that you're manipulating the genes on. Okay? Now, follow me for a second. In all my news shots, you'll come to find out I'm a big fan of quantum physics. In quantum physics, one thing that is quite evident from the get-go is time has no meaning. Not only in the quantum world, but in the construct that we're a part of. And time itself is really a limitation that humanity has put on itself. We are making decisions for another human being or life form who may not want that decision made for them. Now, just because they're just an embryo right now doesn't mean that when they're 20 years old or whenever, they may have a rub against what was done to them. I mean, this is not unheard of, folks. I'm going to give you an example, and it has to do with an ancient religious tradition known as circumcision. Now, circumcision happens, if you're of the Jewish faith, you're into Judaism, or sometimes people, when your son is born, feel that it's more clean to be circumcised. Whatever reason you circumcise your children, that's your own business. However, I've seen countless support groups on the internet and forums of men who are pissed that their parents decided to circumcise them, and now they're left dealing with it. They don't want to be circumcised. And you can read and do the research to figure out why they feel this way. but it's incredibly justified. And that right of not being circumcised was taken away from them. You know, their body was altered permanently by their parents against their own free will, right? Their will. Even though they may be a baby, look, this is something that's life going to be a permanent alteration to your baby's body that down the road, as an adult, they might have a rub with, right? And a lot of men do. So that's just one example of how making decisions for somebody at that stage can really be to the detriment of them down the road and maybe against what they want and what they feel is their right. And that's the slippery slope we go down. Not to mention the fact, what else are they going to edit? How can you be sure that these scientists out there are going to be able to do this without making a mistake? And if they make a mistake and they make the wrong mistake, my friends, it can have dire consequences to humanity. If they alter one gene, as a matter of fact, there's a TED Talk out there on this very thing. If you look up TED Talk and CRISPR, you'll come to find this very, very riveting TED Talk on this subject. And even the person talking about it understands, wow, look at the slippery slope we're going on. She's talking about Zika and trying to engineer the mosquitoes to eliminate Zika and how in a very short period of time they can do it. I mean, like generation or two. It's unbelievable. If they make a mistake and they don't catch it, it can be very, very, very detrimental to humanity. And if they don't make a mistake, but they add other things in there because they might not like a trait that is out there, like rebelliousness, if you will, the rebellious mind. If there's a gene that they can alter to make people more docile, why not do it? All you got to do is do it to some. You don't have to do it to all. Over time, that genetic manipulation spreads like wildfire and eventually takes over. It's an amazing thing. You can actually engineer a CRISPR into the DNA itself so that any other future generations, they already have the CRISPR mechanism in their DNA, and you can instruct it to activate at any age using any sort of trigger. It's an unbelievable technology when you start looking into it. And my friends, time has no meaning here. We're talking about violating the rights of others, and that's what human editing is going to do. And I understand there's some good things that can come of it, but my friends, we have always heard this. Oh, so many good things. Nuclear energy. Woohoo! Look at all the good stuff that's come from nuclear energy. It's touted as the cleanest power. I mean, it's like Department of War and Department of Defense. Nuclear energy, clean. No. And just because they say it's clean doesn't mean it is clean, but it was touted as this clean technology that was going to, stop the pollution and all that stuff. Look at what it's done. Okay? The road to hell. Paved by good intentions. So I would be very cautious to be acceptant of technology like this, especially considering the condition of humanity, where we are, and who's going to be using this technology. And I'd be very wary about how it's implemented, and I would make sure that if it is, there certainly is strict accountability for these scientists and those that tell them what to do. I'm Joe Joseph. This was thedailysheeple.com's News Shot. Feel free to comment below and visit our website at thedailysheeple.com. Have a great day, everybody.